Good evening, I'm Taylor Thomas with the CTV News Update. It's time to bring out those masks again. The County Health Department is urging residents to mask up indoors. CTV's Katara Jones is in Largo with everything you need to know. Katara?
County health officials are recommending that residents voluntarily wear masks in indoor public places. This new recommendation comes as the county's positivity rate near 7.5%. Leaders say they want to avoid Prince George's going into the CDC's medium COVID-19 community level.
My whole family, we continue to wear our masks indoors and out.
I think we should. Cases are going up.
I think it was kind of too soon for them to be lifting a lot of these things that they have done. And naturally, as you see, now they're trying to put it back in place.
County health officials want to encourage all eligible residents that are not yet vaccinated to get the shots. Katara Jones, CTV News.
Governor Larry Hogan honors Maryland fallen troopers. Hogan and police officials today paid tribute to 43 troopers who died while protecting and serving the state. Among the men honored were 2 troopers who died while on active duty during World War II.
Now more than ever, it is critical that we come together to honor the faithfulness and the loyalty of all the brave, proud members of the Thin Blue Line. Those who run toward the danger and adversity when others run away.
The annual Fallen Heroes ceremony took place at the Maryland State Police Headquarters in Pikesville. A local organization is holding a protest rally tonight outside of the Wayne K. Curry Administration Building in Largo. This is the second car rally this year organized by the Prince George's Coalition for Police Accountability. Members plan to drive around the building honking their horns. They say the county is keeping residents out of the processes surrounding the 11-member Police Accountability Board. They are demanding, among other things, more community input and transparency.
With the newly formed Police Accountability Board, we actually don't believe that there's been enough input from the civilians or citizens of the community. And we believe that Angela also Brooks sort of speeds things along without letting the community be informed of what's going on. And there are organizations and people who want to be engaged, who want to actually be involved in what's going on that affects them. So how can you have a true board when you're supposed to have civilians and your process for getting them to become members of the board are lacking? They don't exist.
The Police Accountability Board is the result of legislation passed in Annapolis back in 2021. The U.S. Senate rejects a bill to expand abortion rights. Maryland Democrat Ben Cardin's plea on the Senate floor yesterday fell on deaf ears. Republicans voted against a Democratic plan to expand abortion services.
There are more than 12 states with anti-abortion laws set to take effect immediately if the Supreme Court strikes down Roe v. Wade. The Republican leader, Mr. McConnell, stated, and I quote, "If the leak opinion became the final opinion, legislative bodies, not only at the state level, but at the federal level, certainly could legislate in that area," end quote. Thanks to 5 unelected active justices on the Supreme Court, women are facing the prospect of a federal nationwide ban on abortion services.
Cardin co-sponsored the Women's Health Protection Act following the leak of a draft opinion by the U.S. Supreme Court indicating that it was poised to overturn Roe versus Wade. In COVID news that is, for the first time since early February, the numbers of daily cases in Maryland has topped 2,000. The Maryland Department of Health has identified 2,210 new cases. The positivity rate at the state level is just under 6.5%. In Prince George's, it's at 7.45%. 9 Marylanders have died over the past 24 hours. 310 people are hospitalized. You're watching CTV News. I'm Taylor Thomas. Coming up, honoring foster care parents for their giving hearts. Back in a moment.
Farewell scenes are familiar to the 4th Division, but this time their destination is the other side of the Atlantic.
For some, serving means deploying overseas to make the world a safer place. But for many men and women in the National Guard and Reserve, serving happens closer to home.
The vast majority of New Orleans, Louisiana is underwater.
Major eruption occurring at 8:32 approximately this morning on Mount St. Helens.
My soldiers, they have been working nonstop, around the clock.
We're starting to get some reports of fire in Paradise.
No matter if you've deployed overseas or responded to crisis here at home, you've earned the right to mental health support. Whether it's care at the VA or finding a provider in your community, if you need help, VA will be there. Go to BeThereForVeterans.com to learn how VA supports members of the National Guard and Reserve.
Welcome back. Foster parents from around the DMV are being honored for their dedication to kids. Each year, the Metropolitan Council of Governments partners with local and state child welfare agencies to celebrate foster parents. This year, Alvin and Zinga Curry were selected from Prince George's County. The Currys have invited a number of young people into their home.
We try to make sure we have a positive relationship with all the families to ensure that they know that we're here to support, we're here to love on these kids until they have an opportunity to be returned. We want to make sure that no matter if they're here with us or they go back, they recognize that they are worth being loved.
A total of 10 families were selected, one from each of the 10 counties in Maryland, Virginia, and the District of Columbia. A special basketball tournament kicks off tonight in Brandywine with the aim of reducing crime. Byron Scott has our story.
We're excited about it. It's the first time that we've done this here in District 9. And then we want this to be the model for the rest of the county.
Crystal Hollingsworth is the person behind an event called Hoops Up, Crime Down. It's a basketball tournament set for tomorrow night at the Southern Area Aquatics and Recreation Complex in Brandywine. Hollingsworth calls it a community engagement event.
What we are doing is we're building relationships between communities of color and law enforcement. We know that there's a fractured relationship. And so it's our goal to build relationships, to build trust.
Hollingsworth's organization, Our Sons Rise, is sponsoring Hoops Up, Crime Down in conjunction with the Department of Parks and Recreation. The event will feature games with first responders and local athletes between the ages of 13 and 21. There will also be food and music by DC Vibe Band.
It's not just building the relationship between the youth and the police officers. It's also building connections and networks with all of us as well.
Darkest hour.
Hollingsworth founded the nonprofit Our Sons Rise after her son Anthony was incarcerated.
My son right now is incarcerated, and he's right now in the Honor Society at Bowie State University. And when he was incarcerated, he was dealing with addiction. He was dealing with anxiety. And my family, we just didn't want to face it. And so I said, it's time for us as a people to step out of the shame.
Not only has Our Sons Rise helped Anthony, who will be released early next year, but many others as well.
We feed the community. We have a toy drive where we adopted families. We had a backpack giveaway. We do a lot for the community.
As for Hoops Up, Crime Down, again, it's set for tomorrow night at 6 to 9 at the Southern Area Aquatics and Recreation Complex in Brandywine.
This is reimagining what communities and policing looks like.
Byron Scott, CTV News.
The number of Prince George's businesses lost during the pandemic wasn't as bad as initially predicted. According to the Economic Development Corporation, grants and other government assistance allowed most restaurants and retail stores to eventually reopen their doors. But childcare continues to be problematic for not only the county, but the nation as a whole. The EDC was tasked with disseminating a $1 million grant from the county to assist childcare providers.
For the workforce to come back, the mothers and fathers of Prince George's County needed a place for their young children. The state of Maryland has put more than $20 million that has just been appropriated that'll be eventually coming down to all local governments in the state. And I think that will have a very helpful effect on childcare facilities.
Is it still a problem in the county?
The absence or the diminution of available childcare slots, childcare workers in particular, continues to be a problem for workforce in general.
The Center for the Study of Child Care Employment analyzes nationwide trends in daycare facilities. It says 117,000 fewer child care jobs were available in March of 2022 compared with pre-pandemic levels in February of 2020. The D.C. region makes some progress against homelessness, according to a new report from the Council of Governments. A count of people living in shelters and on the street found an 8% reduction compared with last year's data. COG credits eviction moratoriums and diversion programs, as well as additional housing resources, including emergency housing vouchers and rental assistance. While much of the region's homeless numbers went down, Prince George's actually saw an increase of 6%. Cut down a tree in College Park and it could cost you big bucks. The City Council just passed a tree protection ordinance after an intense debate Tuesday night. The new legislation will require that residents get permission to prune or remove trees on their properties. The goal is to prevent tree canopy loss in the city. Violators must pay a penalty of $1,000. Those who fail to plant a replacement or pay the original fee will face an additional $1,000 fine. The fee will be cut in half until February 2023, so residents have time to learn about the guidelines. And CTV News will continue in a moment. Stay tuned.
I don't remember how it started. Our back and forth. Victory. Fumble. Repeat. It always came back.
Dad! Okay, here we go, throw it! Yeah.
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Nice.
Welcome back. A former Baltimore priest is going to jail for 22 years. Fernando Cristancho was sentenced this week for a series of child sex offenses. Cristancho worked as a priest in the Archdiocese of Baltimore. He's also worked as a priest in Harford and Baltimore counties. A shooting leaves a teen and a young adult dead in Germantown. The victims were 16 and 21-year-olds. It happened yesterday afternoon at the 19,000 block of Crystal Rock Drive. Montgomery County Police are investigating. The mayor of Bowie is taking the General Assembly to task over high gas prices. Tim Adams is running for Maryland Comptroller. In a new political ad, he says the General Assembly did not go far enough when it suspended gas taxes for 30 days.
By not suspending the gas tax, the General Assembly got it wrong. They should come back to work and pass that now. If you elect me Maryland Comptroller, I'll always put you, the taxpayer, first.
Adams, the first black mayor of Bowie, is the founder and CEO of Defense Company. He's running against Delegate Brooke Learman in the Comptroller race. The city of Bowie is offering financial assistance to first-time home buyers. The grants offer closing cost assistance to teachers, persons with disabilities, city government employees, and police officers. The grants are for $2,000 and will be matched by the state for a total of $4,000. Purchasers must have a minimum of $1,000 of their own funds to commit to the transaction. Call 1-800-638-7781 for additional information. Let's check now our weather forecast tonight. A chance of rain, lows around 60. Friday, rain likely, highs around 71 degrees. Saturday, another rainy day with high temperatures in the mid-70s. Sunday, partly sunny with a chance of thunderstorms, highs around 82 degrees. And that's a wrap up of our CTV News Update. I'm Taylor Thomas. Good night.